The Mets are going to the NLCS, baby. Woo! Sorry if I just blew out your ears. Uh, I've been kind of riding this wave of sports amazingness for the last week and a half. So I am very happy tonight, as you can see. Wow. I cannot believe the Mets are going to the NLCS. It's crazy. Yeah. I kind of actually shed a tear a little bit when I saw them win. No joke. I know it sounds cheesy, but I was there in 2015 when the Mets made to the World Series against the Kansas City Royals. They ended up losing that World Series, unfortunately. But I went to that one home game that they won, and that was the last time I saw David Wright play live before I moved to Ohio. So to see them get back to it, man, it was so cool. I had the sports. This was nothing compared to last week, and which we'll get into. But yeah, welcome in here, guys, tonight. Thanks for hanging out. A lot of cool bottles to get into tonight. I'm starting off tonight with Wild Turkey Jimmy Russell's 70th because it feels like it's been 70 years since the Mets got to the National League Championship Series. So yeah, I'm celebrating with that, starting off. But real quick, hate to bring down the celebration, but we do want to make sure that we're praying for all the folks in Florida that are getting hit with Hurricane Milton right now. I have a bunch of family in Florida, so they seem to be doing okay right now. We're kind of checking on them, so hopefully they're doing all right. Last thing we heard that the temperature had dropped to like 50 degrees or something, like 40 or 50 degrees. Or actually, I think it was like 30. I don't know. It was really cold for Florida. Just a hurricane bringing in not only all this rain and wind, but also some chillier temperatures, if you will. So everybody say some prayers from Florida for Florida tonight and all the residents there. And if you have any family members there, make sure you're checking in on them and praying for them too. And if you did have any folks in Florida that were living on the coast or that were in that danger zone, hopefully they got out okay. Hopefully they evacuated, got somewhere safe. Yeah, everybody send a little prayer out for them tonight. So, all right, let's get to the chat a little bit before I lose my shit here tonight. Nathan Jurgensen is here. Jimmy's just like right here, man. Jimmy 70th in the Glen. We also have Lost Recipe makers getting all Indiana Jones with their taste vision. Yeah, I actually Big Vic found this for me in California. We'll get into that a little bit. I do remember seeing this on the TTB a while back, so kind of curious to see how that goes. We got James Lay here. Todd Ritter, what's going on, man? We have Dustin Pichel. My boss is from Philly. Let's go Mets. Absolutely. EJ is here. MJ, Lily, and Bella say hello. What's going on? Wait, who's Bella? EJ, who's Bella? Did you get another bulldog, EJ? Deborah C, Mets. What's up, Deborah? Nice to see you. Sandeep is here. Joey B, what's going on? We have Randall Erickson. It's Bourbon Hump Day. It absolutely is. It's Ham Turkey is here. What up? Let's see. Warren Smith is here. We got David Voth. What's going on, man? Has anyone tried the Westward Milestone release yet? We're about to try it tonight. David Voth. I've only knows this, so we'll get a. Well, actually, no, I did take a sip of it. I think I took a sip of it. Yeah, I think I did. But we'll get into that. We'll break that one down. William Wiley is here. Rob Drabinski is here. Thanks for all the advice that I had down. My pleasure, Rob. Sorry. Top Jimmy is here. What's going on, Top Jimmy? Stephen Walt is here. Russ L in the house. Dr. Sped. We got Big Vic. There's Big Vic. Randall Erickson. We got Robert W. Griff is here. What's going on, Griff? Ryan Halley, Isaac C. We got who else? Michael Speakerman, as always. Nice to see you, man. Roger Reese. What's going on, Roger? Nice to see you, as always. Jeff Perkins is here. Francisco. That's right. Lindora played the hero tonight. MVP. Connoisseur Cigar. Eric. What's going on, my man? Nice to see you. Wise Guy Whiskey Stew. What is going on, buddy? We got Whiskey Juice. Travis Robeson, sorry, from a Braves fan. Go Mets. As Braves fans, it's probably fun to see the Mets take out the Phillies because all the teams in the NL East hate each other. Adam Hinson's here. We got Dunny. What's going on, Nabisco? What's going on, buddy? Todd Ritter said hi to you. Whiskey Nose is here. What's going on, Marty Party? Dano, David Smith, OG MJ, What's going on? Bo's Wine Guy. Adam Hess. What's going on, Hess? Nice to see you, man. The Bourbon Jerk is here. Just got to see him not too long ago. I'll tell you about that. Jeffrey Pellegrini is here. What's going on? Black Bourbon family, Jason and Brandy. They just put out a great video of the top YouTube channels, top whiskey or bourbon YouTube channels to watch. Everybody, I highly recommend going to check that out. They do a great job calling out maybe some lesser known channels to you guys. Gotta, rise those tides for everybody. So thank you so much, Jason and Brandy, for that video. Let's see. Bearded Bourbon Bars here. Prescription Bourbon. What's going on, David? Nice to see you, man. Jeff Perkins, the sample guy. Whiskey Juice. Cheech Artolino, man. Hope you're safe in Florida. I'm not sure if you had to evacuate, if you're hunkering down, Cheech, but we're all praying for you, buddy. And of course, all your family, if anybody else is there. Hello, MASH family. Carlos, the Urban Bourbon Guy. We got Primitive FPV. How many of you have won the Total Wine Grand Reserve drawing? Do we have any winners here? And I'm just going to scroll down because I have to catch up. There's a lot of people here. WD here. Daryl Pessler sipping on some barrel batches, 34, 35, 36. All three of those are really good, Daryl. Good job there. Jable Drink, Jeep Man, Henry D, Brian Koppel. Sipping on some Blue Note. It felt appropriate. Go Royals. Yes, the Royals are playing my mom's Mets. I'm sorry, my mom's Yankees. God forbid I said my mom's Mets. My mom is probably painstakingly watching the game through closed, covered eyes. This is how my mom watches Yankee games, kind of like that. I got to say, that last inning, I was kind of like this too, just waiting. But the Mets pulled it out. So real quick, first, let's have a drink. Everybody, cheers. Thanks for hanging out tonight. We have a lot of fun and bottles to go through. I will do some comparisons tonight. Larceny, C923. This will be a fresh crack. We're gonna, try it against some, the other Larcenys from this year. We also have the new makers. We have a bunch of new hard truths, some really interesting ones in that reserve series. The newest Bardstown Bourbon Company bottle that was just announced today or yesterday, I think. Blackberry Farm Brewery. Now I know people see blackberry and they're like, "Oh, that sounds like a blackberry bourbon to some degree," but that is not what it is. It's actually Blackberry Farm is actually a brewery, and we'll get into exactly what they did that and the Milestone. This Milestone Westward, if I'll save that for later because this thing it's ridiculous. So, all right, guys, cheers. Thanks for hanging out tonight. Again, prayers for Florida, and thanks for hanging out tonight. And cheers to my New York Mets. Oh, Jimmy Russell, it hurts so good. Love it. All right. How about them Detroit Tigers? Yeah, the Tigers taking it to Cleveland, taking it to Believeland. Yeah, we'll see what happens in that series. It's a lot. Anthony Quiranta says, thanks for mentioning the RR10 laser codes last time. Couldn't find LLME, but found LMF, and it's like a 14-year at least, something special going on. Thanks. You're very welcome. I was actually I scouted my store today to try to find that laser code. I couldn't find it. I'm going to go to a couple other stores this weekend, see if I could find a couple of them and stock up a little bit on those since they're still a nice cheap. So, Jay, how do we feel about the Larceny bottle redesign? I kind of dig it. We'll do a little comparison here in a little bit. I'm like, my adrenaline's going. I don't even know where to start right now. My adrenaline just like fired up. I was like running around the house. And yeah, it was a lot. Let me relax. So last week on Thursday, took a trip up to go see the Bourbon Junkies. Went to see Dan and Sean. Picked two incredible barrels over at Evernorth Spirits. Had a great time. Obviously went with my buddy Scott. So we took a ride up there. Bourbon Jerk was there as well. He's in the chat. So took a ride up there, picked some great barrels. We had Gary Franchi was there as well because he pretty much knows a lot of the barrels in there. And we picked two absolutely fantastic barrels. One of them that the Bourbon Junkies forgot they even had, which was kind of, they have like inside in their bottling line, they kind of have an upstairs area where they're kind of storing some more barrels. So they had a barrel upstairs of light whiskey that was double oaked. It was, I think it's going to be 9-year light whiskey, double oak. It was absolutely incredible. It was so syrupy and sweet. And then on the flip side of that, we also picked a blend of, it was different. It was Sagamore whiskeys. It was their high rye, low rye, and then a 95.5 rye blended together. So basically kind of a rye blend. And then it was it was like their bourbon mash bill, then their low rye mash bill, then their 95.5 rye mash bill. And then that was blended and then aged in a rye cask. So that's the other one we picked. And that was just so flavorful, so layered. It was just absolutely fantastic. So those will be coming to the group probably in the winter time. We told those guys to hang on till November because we have a lot of other stuff to release here as we finish out 2024. It's coming fast. Can't believe it's October already. So a lot of fun stuff coming from those guys. But that night, it was the final game between the Milwaukee Brewers and the New York Mets in that series. Big shout out to Top Jimmy. Thanks for the 4-month re-up. Cheers, man. I appreciate that. Thank you so much. Thanks for the support, guys. So basically, we go to a bar to watch it because we needed to get some dinner. We went to a local sports bar. I think it was called Big E's or E's something. I forgot the name about it. News just said Milton just made landfall. Okay, so if Milton is starting to hit now, guys, make sure you're keeping in touch with your family members in Florida or anybody else that's kind of hunkering down in Florida. So, all right. So that same night, the Atlanta Falcons happened to be playing Thursday Night Football against their rival Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Guys, it was the greatest sports night I can remember for me personally. I don't think I ever remember a night when the Falcons and the Mets both won in such dramatic fashion in the same exact night. And then I wake up the next day and I see YouTube videos with Mets and Falcons on the same thumbnail. I'm like, this is weird. I'm going to go play the damn lottery tomorrow. This is nuts. So obviously, I think it was so quiet in the bar. And then Pete Alonso hit that 3-run homer to kind of take the lead and then eventually seal the deal. And I screamed so loud in the bar. It was awesome. And then we're kind of driving home, and the Atlanta Falcon game was just taking so long. And then by the time I get back, I saw that Atlanta had fumbled. But then in the time we were checking into the hotel, they somehow got the ball back and took it down the field, and then they ended up scoring and winning the game in overtime. It was unbelievable. Never in my life did I have ever had a sports night like that. So I don't know. Maybe for one night. Actually, a couple nights now, especially with the Mets, the sports gods have been with me on my side after years of disappointment. So yeah. All right, let's drink some stuff. Here we go. Let's celebrate. Take one more sip of this. Oh, that Jimmy 7/8 is so good. It's so good. All right, yeah. Polar Bear has a hot bat. After the Mets and Falcons, I'm surprised that Jason has clothes on tonight. Yeah, it was pretty crazy. Yeah, last Thursday you must have lost your mind. I was out of my mind. I couldn't even sleep that night. I was just like, eh. And Scott hated me because he's a huge Milwaukee Brewer fan, and he was just like, oh, F this, F that, blah, blah, blah. He was barking at me. It was kind of awesome, but kind of sad at the same time. All right, guys, what do you want me to crack first here? So we have a couple of cool bottles. Also, actually, real quick, before I get into these, I have the greatest blend for you because we're on the cusp of blend again, and I think we're going to start blend again next week. If not, then the week after. We have these next 2 weeks. I just have a bunch of blends. I'm still getting blends, so I'm just trying to, people keep asking me, this was really technically the last week to get blends in. So I got to wait a couple more come in, see how many Franken blends I have. We usually start the tournament off with the Franken blends. So if they're all in by the weekend and I kind of go through them, we will start the Franken blend tournament next week. I will release the bracket and everything. Everybody can start following it, and we'll see who wins the tournament this year. Now, with that said, I know this bottle was kind of, a lot of mixed reviews, but most of the old Grandad 16 reviews were kind of ho-hum, mediocre, not too impressive. Some people really liked it. Most folks just said, don't waste your time on it. I was kind of in the middle. I could see some positives about it, but at the same time, it just did not hit where we wanted it to hit, or as I wanted it to hit. So, I was on the podcast with the Bourbon Hunters literally yesterday, and I'm sorry, Monday, and I brought this bottle over for all of us to try, and we were kind of messing with it. We were pouring it, tasting it, and we all kind of came to the conclusion that this bottle wasn't really worth the $200 price point. So I'm like, man, I had a couple of other bottles with me, and one of those bottles was the Discovery 12 year, and basically the Discovery 12 year on it has has all the blend information, and then it had like a 6-year whiskey in the blend for Discovery 12, which was the Bardstown Bourbon Company 4-grain distillate. That's their own. So I'm like, man, I wonder if you offset the age with something younger. So we're like, you know what? So I ask, the host, Dude Pool, if he has, hey, do you happen to have any OGD 114? Because that's only about 4 or 5 years old. He goes, yeah, I think I have some. Let's get it. Let's blend it. Let's see if it livens it up a bit. So, guys, this is the hack right here. If you happen to buy this bottle and you're kind of underwhelmed by it, this is how you fix it. Grab some Old Grandad 114, and all you have to do, do about a 70-30, 60-40, 50-50, just mess with it. But you will be amazed at what the OGD 114 does to this when you blend them together. It's just amazing what a younger whiskey could do with an older whiskey and vice versa. The finish and the spice that 114 has that the Old Grandad 16 does not have, because of that long age, it comes together so perfectly. Like, this could win Glenlivet. Like, it's so good. Guys, I'm telling you, if you have this, you need to throw some 114 in it. It's again, to your liking, mess with the proportions, but adding some 114 to that OGD 16 will change your life, and will change your. I'm thinking of just dumping the rest of this and just dumping just to fill it up with some Old Grandad 114, letting it mingle, and just keeping it as is forever. So, because I'm probably not buying another one of these, so I might as well make it better. I might just fill the bottle up. Shoot, I'll just do it right now. Let's do it live. So I'm just gonna pour OGD in there. There we go. Right up to the neck. I have a little bit left. And I'm just gonna keep this as my blend. I'm just gonna let this mingle, and we'll see how that goes as we get ready for blend again. But I'm telling you guys right now, Old Grandad 16, if you're not that happy with it, get some 114, drop a little in there, and wait for it to change your life. Yeah, it's very scientific. I measure everything. I'm just pouring it in there. Yeah. I mean, you could obviously get it down to the minutia and get it, milliliter. I just wanted to pour it in there, just get it where I can. So, yep. There you go. It's crazy. It just adds just enough spice and more citrus to balance out all that oak. You're welcome. Enjoy. Yes, and just like that, I knocked down the Old Grandad 16-year label to a 4 instead of a 16. That's a good point. I just made it a 4-year-old $200 bourbon. Ah, shit. Well, that'll be a low value, guys. That's a low value. All right, guys. So, what do we want to crack open first here? Do you want me to get into the Bardstown Bourbon Company? This is a finished whiskey. You know what? Let's go with the Makers, because I'm really curious about this one. So, Maker's Mark. Let's go to the bottle cam. Maker's Mark Lost Recipe Series. Now, there you go. There's the Lost Recipe. It's the archive stave of Mocha. So it's the Mocha stave. Now, if you look at the full recipe here: baked American puree, 3 French cuvee, and then 6 French Mocha staves. 111.9 proof. Yeah. Let's see, 4-year, $200 bottle sounds like some of the Blue Run LEs. Oh, yeah, that's get a marker and change to 16. Jason just made my favorite cocktail, whiskey with a splash of whiskey. That's right. That's how you do it. All right, let's try this makers. No, I am not adding makers to anything. Hey, Katie Turkis here, Richie Z, bunch of people coming in, 387 already watching. Thank you guys so much for hanging out tonight. Yeah, let's try that. Now, the Lost Recipe series, again, it's kind of Maker's Mark doing what they do. They kind of go back to the past to bring back something again that they've already done. It's kind of, the same record. It's, it's like when your favorite, it's like the White Album from the Beatles. It just constantly gets remastered, redone, re-released, a little bit more expensive each time. It just keeps coming out. So, I don't know. It's just or Abbey Road is a great example too. They just keep releasing different variations of the same thing. So now the Mocha Stave, which people loved and were really upset when it went away, here's your chance to get it back again. Now I thought this was going to be every single stave, all 9 staves were going to go. We're going to be all Mocha. So this is all 10 staves. So this is 10 staves. I thought with this we'd see all 10 staves, but it looks like they kind of went with their own, I guess, Mocha heavy recipe. And I kind of want to drink this first because you guys know I'm not exactly the biggest Makers fan, but we can kind of get into this a little bit here. Well, let's see. The bottle cam is still. Oh yeah, sorry. Yeah, bottle cam. Big Vic, how much was this again? What was this, like $75-$80, if I remember correctly? Big Vic, let me know what this was in Cali. So just for this release, Mocha coming back. I would actually like to see a couple of new staves, from Maker's Mark come into the fold and kind of mess with it and see what happens. So yeah. Top Jimmy giving out the gifts. Master and Drum memberships. Thank you so much, Top Jimmy. Just giving out all the gifts. Love it. Cheers, Maureen. Thank you so much. Paul and Ann says it's $54 in Connecticut at Costco. Costco's usually a lot lower than most other places, but all right. 55 at Costco, says Anthony Grant. All right, so pretty cheap. I like that price. $57.89 in DC. Damn, everyone's getting their shit at Costco. What the hell? That's kind of cool. All right. Now, we don't know how many of these, or I'm guessing it says Lost Recipe series, so I'm guessing we'll see more of these. However, what's going to be the next Lost Recipe? Because we did the Mocha Stave, they replaced that. They haven't replaced anything since they brought in the Mendiant Stave. So are they going to re-release like the old wood finishing series? Like, are we going to see the R2D2 again? Or the BRT or the FAE? Are those gonna be in a Lost Recipe series as well? Like, they're gonna bring those back under like this label? I don't know. We'll see what happens. It just drives me nuts when they do stuff so derivative like that of like past releases. That's right, I said derivative. You also buy 400 and other random stuff at Costco. That's how they get you. That's true, Matt's pals. Yeah. What's different from the Heart? So the Heart release was like a full finished finishing staves type of recipe. This is bringing back that Mocha Stave that's not in production anymore, except for this. I mean, you do get the chocolate caramel immediately. Almost comes off like a Rolo candy. Rolo chocolate chew with the caramel in the middle. It's actually very chocolatey. Borderline coffee bean. It's close, not quite there, but it's close. My Costco sucks, says Kraken. Yeah, my Costco does not get Makers, does not do the whole alcohol thing because of being in Ohio, being a controlled state. So. Yeah, it smells fantastic, Paul and Ann. I totally agree. The nose is really nice. It really gives you that chocolatey. I mean, you know, I hate to say it, but mocha is like actually a really good word for it because I feel like you do get that. And I'm wondering if they use those other staves to really accentuate like what the mocha staves bring. Because if it was all mocha, I feel like maybe you wouldn't get as it wouldn't be as balanced. It would be a little bit too far on one side. So maybe they use those other staves to kind of balance it out to bring out the best in the mocha. So you're really getting those mocha type flavors. At least on the nose, it definitely smells like that. It's borderline coffee bean. It's very chocolatey. There's a lot of heavy caramel here too, which I like. So if anything, you turn it into a candle. It smells delicious. All right. All right. Yeah, much of the same on the palate. Nothing surprising here, guys. Nothing that'll blow your mind. I think it's nice to taste the mocha stave again. But yeah, it brings you the chocolate. It brings you that. I think I'm actually getting more of that heavy caramel note on it. I kind of dig it. Yeah, being a wheater, not much spice. It's really easy to sip. Even coming off the wild turkey and that old granddad. There's a little bit of spice there on the back end, but it's really sweet, very easy. I don't know. If this was $55, $60 everywhere, I actually really like the release. You know, am I crazy about the whole Lost Series thing? No, because again, it's just Maker's Mark bringing back something they've already done. Even though I think this was kind of a smart one, to be honest, because people really lost their shit when the mocha stave went away. People loved the mocha stave. Private selections were out there, but people just doing all mocha staves. So people love that stave quite a bit. So it's nice to see it come back, you know, in a fashion like this that's affordable. And you know what? This doesn't have like that weird Maker's Markian wheat funk note that I get that tastes like wet cardboard. This doesn't actually have it. So I actually like this quite a bit. For $55, $60, if you guys see it, if you like those flavors, pick it up. It's not going to break the bank. Who knows if we'll see another mocha thing again. And it just tastes good. It just tastes good. Remember, private selects that are out there that'll probably come close to this are usually 75 to 80. So if this is cheaper and you get kind of a lost stave profile, you know, the the Ark of the Covenant type of situation that we have here, it's not bad. And it's getting more chocolatey as it even opens up, which is kind of nice. JG, what's going on? Let's see. The new Larceny label bottle is 1 billion times better, and I have no idea why. Well done to them. Yeah, we'll go into the Bardstown, then we'll get into Larceny right after that. I do want to hit this Bardstown real quick. Whiskey Habit says, I passed on a Willet Purple Top for $230. What's the most you would pay? Whiskey Habit, how old was it? That's my biggest question. Several viewers said the Heart release didn't have the typical Maker's Funk either, maybe new trend. I would agree with that, Jay. I have kind of come around on the Heart release. I think it's actually, you know what, let's do a quick compare. Let me grab the Heart release. Hold on. All right. Let's get it. So the Heart release has notes of caramel, chocolate, maple on the front. I do remember it being pretty chocolatey. It was finished with 10 virgin oak staves. 10 virgin toasted French oak staves. French oak staves. That's what it is. All right, let's do a quick little compare here. I actually like the nose on the mocha better. The Heart has more spice easily from that French oak. The French oak definitely brings a little bit more of a spice kick to it. It's actually, again, I think the maple is a good call out on this. I get maple syrup on this, a little bit maple sugar maybe. The chocolate note is there, but I actually think the mocha. But you know what? I'll say this: it is tamed down. I don't get the Maker's Mark thing as much as I normally do, but I think the mocha. I don't get any of it in this. But the one thing the mocha does not have, this does not have a finish at all. It falls off a cliff real fast. The more you sip it, it's sweet, it's easy, it's chocolatey. This is almost like it's a dessert bourbon. Like, have this with cake. I think that's what people would enjoy this. Or have it like as your first of the night pour, kind of get the palate going. Because even at 111.9 proof, you could convince me that's like a 98 proof whiskey. It's really sweet and easy. Let's see. Missed out on the Rebecca Creek pick, but a good old college roommate who lives in Texas to look for me and found one today and is going to send it. Oh, awesome, Chip. Yeah, the Rebecca Creek pick. I do regret making it too limited too. I think more people wanted it, for the group, but just like a lot of folks are having. Not everything has been selling out, and I think a lot of people just have a lot of whiskey, and I totally understand that. So we just made it two, just to see if people wanted to grab a backup. Luckily, there weren't a lot of people that grabbed more than one bottle, so it was pretty minimal overall. But I just think it just sold out fast because people wanted that last Rebecca Creek. What's up, Cloudy Guy? Yep, let's go Mets, baby. That's right, guys. 413 people watching. Hit that like button. Appreciate it. Stanton just hit a home run. Oh, my mom will be happy. She's been complaining about him for the whole, the entire series. Stan can't hit anything. He's terrible. Trade him, bench him. She's been and Judge too. Judge has done shit in the playoffs as well. Yeah, I actually like the mocha a little better. That's a nice little release for Maker's Mark. Welcome back, Mocha Stave. I dig it. All right. Let's get into this one. The Bardstown Blackberry Farm Brewery. I want to say reserve. It's not reserve. There's no reserve at all. All right. So let's go to... Where was it? I believe there was a... Oh, yeah. Here it goes. All right. I have the press release up. Let me go back here. Let me actually open this. And I didn't really know much about this until the press release came out. Ooh, smells nice. All right, bottle cam. Bardstown Bourbon Company collaborative series, Blackberry Farm Reserve. Okay, guys, here are the deets. The Bardstown Bourbon Company collaborative series will cap off the year. This is the last one for 2024. The final of 3 collaborations pairs with Bardstown Bourbon Company and Blackberry Farm Brewery, presenting a Kentucky straight bourbon whiskey finished in Blackberry Farm Brewery Oxheart Stout barrels, born from the same spirit of hospitality and craftsmanship. Blah, 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 blah. So this is a custom blend of 6 to 14-year-old bourbon that was finished in Blackberry Farm Brewery's signature Oxheart Stout barrels for 17 months. This extremely limited bottling, comprised of just 10 barrels, will be available exclusively in Tennessee and Kentucky, and as well as the Bardstown Bourbon Company's distillery home place in the tasting room. So there you go. Let's go back here. So why can't I say that damn word? I keep wanting to say Ox Stout. It's Oxheart Stout barrels. Now, I love stout. That is my go-to type of beer. So actually kind of excited to try this. Now, when it comes to the blend, here's what we got. So that's the blend right there. Now, as you can see, we have a bunch of really interesting components here, including a couple 14-year, is that an 8, a 4? Just crazy stuff. Yeah, $160 for this, 107 proof as well. Jeff Winbush, so what does that say? Oh, yes. Thank you so much for the $5 super chat. Appreciate you, man. Dylan says, went to the Mets game last night with the client and his kid who were Philly fans. So I wore a Philly shirt to support. Haven't been chirped that much since high school. Dude, you wear You're a brave man. You go to Citi Field wearing a Philly. That's like going to the Philly Stadium wearing a Met stuff. That's crazy. Jason, you have the Maker's Mark Private Selection cocoa butter to compare with the Lost Recipe. I don't think I have that one. Yeah, guys, so don't fret. No Tennessee in this blend. So I know a lot of people are always freaked out if it was. So what we have here is 45% of the blend is the Bardstown Bourbon Company 6-year 75-21-4 recipe. That's 45% of the blend. 25% of the blend is an 8-year Kentucky, which is 53-26-21. Interesting mash bill there. 21% of the blend is a 14-year 78-10-12. So that's Schmevin Schmill, if you will. And 9% is 75-13-12, which is 14 year as well. 9% of the blend. Now that could either be that could either be a little thing that you have on Thanksgiving, or it could be something that rhymes with Tim Scene. It's either turkey or beam. So I'll just say that. All right, let's get into this one. Here we go. Stout season 24/7-365. Anthony Grant, I'm with you. Crazy chicken. That's probably yeah. It's a crazy chicken. It's a crazy gobble. Or it's Bim Jeem. Wow, it is very stouty on the nose, obviously. Very, very chocolate heavy. Again, actually, this is kind of a nice bourbon coming off the Maker's Mark, because it's actually has a little bit of those flavors, just a little bit more elevated with the chocolate and the mocha. Jason, how do you like the Goose Island Stout, and how does it compare to this? I love the Goose Island Stout, John. That was one of my favorite releases that Bardstown Bourbon Company has done, especially the first one, the one that was only available in Chicago. Absolutely love that one. You need to go review the Goose Island releases. CYPB Alternative, Eddie Martell. CYPB Alternative, basically anything. CYPB is not great. It's a very okay whiskey. There's nothing special about CYPB except it has a Weller on it and a white label. It's okay. It's good. It's a solid bourbon. I don't think it's anything to write home about. People like to pay exorbitant amount of monies to get it. It's not that great. So as far as an alternative, freaking drink Rare Breed over CYPB any day of the week. Yeah. Yeah, the first Goose Island release ever was the main one. I have no idea where it is. Is it right here? Oh shit. Dun, dun, dun. It's right here. Okay. Look at this on cue. All right, so let's get into this one first. BBC High Wheat. I think the Weller has a little bit more age than the High Wheat does, but give that High Wheat some time. It could get to that point, I think. Man, yeah, it's heavy chocolate. Again, that mocha type of note, mocha latte, if you want to call it. It's got a nice little golden graham thing going on, like honey and graham cracker. And I actually would give it a little toasted marshmallow here that I'm picking up. Yeah, it's very desserty. Again, another desserty whiskey in a glass. All right, let's give it a try, guys. Cheers. Oh. That was surprising. Not what I expected on the palate. Maltiness. That stout beer maltiness comes through on the mid palate completely. You notice it right away, right when it hits the mid palate. You're kind of tasting it. You're getting all the chocolate. You're getting the mocha, the graham cracker, and then all of a sudden you get this maltiness characteristic that hits mid palate immediately. Wow, that was interesting. That kind of, I did not expect that at all. Okay. That's so crazy. It's got all the makings of like this really rich and decadent type of whiskey, especially up front. Then once it hits mid palate, it almost turns into like a now I know, so some stouts that you try are just all sweet. Like if you've ever had the Bourbon County Stout, those things are just candy. It's very hard to kind of cut through to taste the malt. But if you've ever, but if you've ever had like a Founder's Breakfast Stout, that's not only chocolatey but malty, or even I'll throw Guinness in there, kind of a malty type of stout, not as much sweet, a little bit more of the malt profile comes through. That's what you get on the back end of this, and I kind of dig it. I'm kind of here for it. This, I think, even more so than the Goose Island. We'll try the Goose Island here too. This is more of a stout drinker's whiskey. The Goose Island, which we'll compare here real quick. Did the Goose Island have some Dickel in it? I can't remember. I know that sounds dirty, but take a 12-year. Oh no, it's a 12-year Kentucky bourbon, and finish it with Goose Island Bourbon County Stout barrels for 13 months. So a little bit of a shorter finish on this one. Just a tip. Is Rock Hill Farms worth the hunt? What's a good alternative? Secondary is crazy. Help. Cheers. Eddie Martell. Yeah, Rock Hill Farms the same. It's a 100 proof single barrel bourbon. So take your pick, man. Yeah, for that money, I've had Henry McKenna single barrels that are better than that, 100 proof. Shoot, Colonel Taylor single barrel 100 proof. I mean, I know that's hard to get still as well, but I've had more luck with those than the Rock Hill Farms. Dude, get a Knob Creek 12-year. Get a Knob Creek 12-year over Rock Hill Farms any day of the week, for sure. And yeah, I would still throw Henry McKenna in there. I would throw in there, man, what else? I mean, some Russell's Reserve single barrels are 100. Russell's Reserve single barrels are 110 proof, and I think I've had so many that blow away Rock Hill Farms. I know people want the bottle because they want it on their shelf, but you're going to be overpaying for something that's not going to come, you know, and this is the tough thing about allocated whiskey, especially allocated whiskey from Buffalo Trace. You know, there are some whiskeys that you buy, you kind of know going in, it's not going to be as good as what you've had before in the past, but people still just want that bottle on their shelf. And I know sometimes it's hard to say no to some of those bottles, especially when it's something you've been coveting for a long time. But I feel like it takes a long time to get there. Because like 3 or 4 years ago, if I walked in and saw Rock Hill Farms for a reasonable price, I probably would have bought it. Today, I'm not buying it. Just because there's just so much stuff out there in the market. KC12. Someone put, Old Forester 1924. Yeah, I think that could be a good alternative, but that's still really hard to find right now. But, I mean, I'm telling you, when you try some of those whiskeys, I think people get them, and then if they drink them, they automatically think it's the greatest thing in the world because you're so excited to try it. And while I think there's some truth to that, there's kind of, it's kind of like that placebo effect. You're just kind of around other people cracking open a new Rock Hill Farms, pouring it, enjoying it. Rock Hill Farms can be good, but they are single barrel, so you're still rolling the dice on whether it's going to be a really good barrel or not. The 2 or 3 that I've had, 2 of them have been very, very mediocre, and 1 was actually really good. So, again, you're kind of rolling the dice there, but more consistently, just go find a really good Russell's Reserve single barrel from Camp Nelson. It will blow most Rock Hill Farms out of the water. So, there you go. Oh, yeah, Green River Foolproof. That shit's really good, too. All right, Goose Island. Goose Island is way more chocolatey and way more sweet. Yeah, the Goose Island is straight up candy. There is a slight malt to it, but not nearly as much malt as in the Blackberry. The blackberry maltiness is actually what's kind of selling it for me. Is it $160 good? Probably not for most. But if you are a stout, enthusiast, if you love stout, stout beers, and you're willing to try a lot of different ones, if you're a huge Guinness fan, Goose Island, Founders, and all the other million stouts that are out there these days, this blackberry could be your jam. I mean, I know it's pricey, but if you could appreciate the whiskey side of it and the beer side of it, you might have a winner. If you're a beer drinker, but you like to stick with IPAs, sweeter beers, fruit beers, things are a little bit less malty, maybe more hoppy, this isn't going to be for you. Yeah, it's crazy where that malty note comes from, just out of nowhere. It's really interesting. Yeah, I dig it. Whiskey knows I love IPAs. Don't you say a word, Jason. I don't mind IPAs. I just can't take the real heavy IPAs. But I don't mind a good IPA, especially in the summertime. Thank you very much for the response. Drop the link to your Patreon. I'm in, says Eddie Martell. It's in the description of the video, Ed, if you go down below. So yeah. All right. So that's my take on the new Bardstown. And all right, so we're a couple whiskeys in already. Let's go to the Larceny Barrel Proof. And before we crack this open, we are going to do a few news stories here because there are some most worthy talking about. But since you guys brought up the new versus old design, let's take a little head-to-head look here. So move this over. So there you go, guys. Here we have the Larceny Barrel Proof old label design. Still kind of sporting the John E. Fitzgerald Barrel Proof. Have a nice batch number. Kind of looking through the keyhole, you do see the key on the other side of the bottle. Now we go to the new look. It's definitely more premium feeling. I feel like this copper black combination is it's something that we've seen a lot, coming out of Lux Row and some other brands. I really, really like this. It definitely feels more elevated, more premium. The key is front and center, and even the top of the bottle, it's now this kind of copper key, wrap on the top, which automatically makes it feel pretty more, a little bit more premium, I would say. So as far as the design goes, I really like this. I do miss kind of the look through the keyhole part of it because I thought that was kind of a cool detail in the old bottle that this one doesn't have anymore. And I'm trying to... Okay, it is the same bottle. Okay, I don't know. I don't know why, but this one felt like it was curvier than this one was, but not quite. Okay. All right, so let's get this opened up here. Contribution, so you can get some Mets sheets and pillowcases for the playoffs and sleep well. Randall Erickson, that is awesome. Thank you so much, man. That is so cool. Like the gold, but not crazy about the label. Yeah, I kind of wish they would have kept the keyhole, but instead of a black key on the inside, they could have made the key gold on the inside. Probably would have been more expensive, but I think that would have been really, really cool. Thank you so much, Randall. That's a brilliant idea. I can't wait for my girlfriend to, come over and, we go to bed at night and the entire bed is just covered in Mets sheets. She's going to be like, what the F is this? I'm like, we're going, baby. We're going to NLCS. Here we go. With that mindset, I actually did order the Mets championship T-shirt and hats already. So yeah, I'm already in it. I'm in it. All right, I have not tasted this yet, so this should be good. I'm actually going to be filming a full review of this, I think tomorrow, and then this Friday, you guys will finally see who wins my Elijah Craig Barrel Proof of the year matchup. Yeah. Congrats to your Mets. My Phillies shit the bed, says Mark Emanecker. Yeah, sorry, Mark. But yeah, the Mets are just hot right now. What can I say? Hopefully they can keep it going. I'm actually more scared to play the Padres than the Dodgers. The Padres seem to always have the Mets number. The Padres are really good this year. I'm a little scared of them if we end up playing the Padres, but we'll see. All right, we'll let that sit. Daryl Pessler. What does everyone think about the Smoke Eye Hill cast strength? It is my jam. A lot of people love it, man. Smoky Hill, after the big fanfare, kind of like ducked out of the spotlight. But now that we're getting to the end of the year, people are discussing their top of the whiskeys of the year list. Smoky Hill's coming back into the forefront a little bit. People are talking about it again. They're putting it in blinds. It seems to be doing really well. So, yeah, I can't wait to see how it does my end of the year blind. But I like it. I still do not think it is in any way, shape, or form a George T. Stagg killer. However, Stagg Jr. or Stagg, whatever you want to call it these days, I think it does measure up quite a bit to Stagg, but not George T. Stagg. George T. Stagg just has too much age, too much really good sweet oak that the Smoky Hill does not have. And there is a good amount of Smoky Hill, batch variation depending on where what batch you have. But most of them are pretty sweet using that blue corn mash bill. It's some kind of funky MGP sourced, blue corn mash bill, and it's been doing really well. So, look like C924. Love Smoky Hill is not a top 10 bourbon, says Nathan Jurgensen. I don't think it's going to be a top 10 for me personally, because once I put it against some other stuff, it kind of fell flat and the youthful qualities came out. However, if you're just sipping it on its own, if you just want something really sweet, high proof, like a Stagg, that's why I think it can compete with a Stagg. But even I think Stagg, for the most part, I don't know so much about the newer Stagg releases, but at least, the ones like from last year, the year before, I think have a little bit more depth of flavor than even the Smoky Hill does. But as far as like pure brunt force of flavor, the Smoky Hill has that for sure. Marty says it's a GTS killer. Marty's wrong. Don't listen to Marty. Marty, I could give you Stagg. For some palates, I can give you Stagg. Maybe if your palate really likes the Smoky Hill and you think you can beat Stagg, for sure. But to say it's a GTS killer, I'll never agree with that. I can't do it. Sorry, Marty.
So you get nothing. You lose. Good day, sir.
That's right, Marty. All right. Let's get into a couple news stories here. Rebecca Creek even better than Smoky Hill. Yeah, I'll take the Rebecca Creek over Smoky Hill any day of the week. Well, you're a Mets fan, so your Yankees could get eliminated by the Royals. So there you go. Marty's only for looking, not listen. Yeah, that's right. Marty is a sexy beast, isn't he? All right, let's go to the first news story here, guys. Let's start with everybody's favorite, Crown Royal. That's right, Crown Royal making its way to the news sphere here lately. So basically, Crown Royal ditches fruit flavor with a 31-year blended whiskey, its rarest and oldest bottling to date. So today, famed Canadian whiskey blender Crown Royal unveiled a 31-year-old expression, narrowly beating out last year's 30-year-old whiskey as the brand's oldest bottling to date. The latest in the trend as Crown Royal explores high-end offerings, far removed in flavor and price point from its flagship budget-friendly fare. This is bottled at 46% ABV. It's available for a suggested retail price of $599. This whiskey has been patiently aging for over 3 decades, and it's a true representation of the journey we have taken to create something extraordinary. Let's see here. So it doesn't really say anything, just it's a high age Crown Royal at a high price. I thought, within the brand says to expect a unique spice character punctuated by notes of red apple, toasted oak, and subtle vanilla. I'm sorry, but if I'm paying $600 for a bottle, I don't want anything subtle. I want it all up in my face, all on my palate. I don't want anything subtle. I'm sorry. I can't stand when I read descriptions of high-end, high-priced whiskeys and they use the word subtle. That is not, like, if I was in marketing for one of these brands and they said, okay, write up a thing, subtle wouldn't even be in the vocabulary. You do not want subtle in your description of any whiskey that's that type of price point. That should be in your face, bold, spicy, mouth coating. Subtle? Yeah, I don't want subtle. I don't want subtle my whiskey for that much money. Yeah, that's a no for me, dog. Yeah, I agree with you there. I'm saying no as well. I will not be purchasing that. Really cool release from Four Roses here. Now let's get into this cool bottle right here. So Four Roses released 186 bottles of a very rare bourbon honoring an essential water source for the brand. So Four Roses announced yesterday the limited release of 186 bottles of a 9-year-old private selection bourbon honoring the whiskey brand's annual Salt River cleanup. The bottles will be available in the brand's Lawrenceburg Visitor Center on October 17th with a suggested retail price of $99 each. So in a news release from the brand, this is a OBSK recipe, and it spent 9 years and 6 months aging. Four Roses claims the bourbon is rich and spicy with aromas of allspice and pear. Four Roses expressed that on the palate. Okay, I'm not going to read all that. All right. For the brand's annual Salt River cleanup, the distillery employs volunteers to get rid of litter and debris potentially contaminating the Salt River. The spring-fed water runs approximately 150 miles through Kentucky, and it's very rich in limestone. This year marks the 8th annual Salt River cleanup, and Four Roses shared its expanding efforts to clean 2 new locations along the river. So really cool little release from Four Roses, raising some money, helping keep the limestone waters free and clear, so everybody can get better tasting whiskey. Not a bad thing. Hey guys, if you missed it, it's back. Knob Creek 18 is coming back. That's right, batten down the hatches. Here we go. The oldest bourbon to market for a limited time is coming from Knob Creek. On Monday, Knob Creek announced the return of its coveted 18-year-old straight bourbon. The expression, its oldest age statement to date, was initially unveiled in 2022 as a toast to the brand's 30th anniversary. It's a mash bill composed of 77% corn, 13% rye, and 10% malted barley. The expression is bottled at 100 proof and now available nationwide for $179.99. So it is coming back. Real quick poll for you guys: is that a bottle that you would buy again? So, well, yeah. Let me put it this way: if you bought it the first time it came around, would you purchase it again if you saw it again? I'm just curious in the chat. Let me see what you guys are saying. So yeah. Carlos says, Ben Singer says, pass for me. It already was their 30th anniversary. It's coming back as their 31st. Exactly. No shortage of anniversaries for a lot of these distilleries. Mo Hop says, yep, I had it last year. EC18, KC18 needs proof. Big pass. I would pass. Stick with the Knob 12 all day. Yes on the KC. All right, so we have a good mix. A lot of folks are saying that they like the EC18 over KC18 better. Okay, I could see that. 18 was too oaky for the proof, says Ed Williams. It definitely had some oak. Just poured some Smoky Hill into the OGD 16-year killer. Oh, that's a good idea, Top Jimmy. It depends if it has a nice display box, says Mike Frattini. Mike Frattini, always looking for the nice display box. Okay, I get it. I see where your head's at. It's okay, man. Everybody likes a nice display box for their whiskey. It's amazing to me when I see data points on whiskeys and what sells and what doesn't, and how packaging just becomes such a huge part of that whole process. So, real quick note from Bardstown Bourbon Company. Bardstown Bourbon Company just completed its most significant expansion ever. So on Thursday, Bardstown Bourbon Company announced the completion of what it calls its most significant expansion to date, following 10 years of construction on 100 acres of farmland. According to Bardstown Bourbon Company, the expansion pushed its capacity to more than 18 million proof gallons while focusing on conserving natural resources. So the 400-acre property has 2 complete distilleries, which host 3 column stills, 48 fermentation tanks, a state-of-the-art bottling and logistics facility, and warehouse capable of holding nearly 2 million barrels. Beyond its own line of whiskeys, Bardstown Bourbon Company says its space now allows for it to support more than 300 distillation and bottling partners. So Bardstown Bourbon Company just getting bigger and getting more into kind of expanding its space, getting more warehouses. It's incredible to me how whiskey producers keep expanding even now. I'm not going to say that we're on a decline yet for whiskey, but I think it's definitely slowed down. If you look at the data points over this year, people have slowed down whiskey buying quite a bit, especially newer brands that are having a hard time, and brands that are especially higher price with multiple releases each and every year. So, all right. Speaking of Jim Beam, guess what else is coming back? Old Overholt 11-year cask strength. So, Old Overholt is revamping their 11-year rye whiskey with another cask strength bottling. Let's see. This is a 11-year expression, bottled at 107.4 proof. It was distilled and barreled in the autumn of 2012 before being laid down 4 warehouses in Claremont, Kentucky. The end result said to have aromas of vanilla, tobacco, allspice, caramel, and oak. Slated to roll out nationwide this month, suggests a retail price of $99.99. So another shot to get an Old Overholt 11 cask strength if you miss it the first time. So, and that's pretty much the news. I have one more news story which we'll get into, but it has to do with that Westward Milestone, this Westward whiskey Milestone, which we will crack open here in a little bit. So there you go. Exactly, up at 50 bottles to employees to start. I still have not cracked my 0011 cask strength, but plan to this weekend. It is a killer bottle. I think Old Overholt 11-year cask strength is one of those few Beam releases recently that I've really, really enjoyed. Honestly, though, man, if anyone from Jim Beam is watching, can you please... You shouldn't have brought back the Knob Creek 18. That's not what everybody wants. Everybody wants the Knob Creek 12-year cask strength to come back. Please bring it back. Freddie, no, I know you're probably not watching, but if you are watching, or somebody you know is watching that knows you, please tell him to bring back the Knob Creek 12-year cask strength. It came out once, and everybody wants it back. Please, Knob Creek 12-year cask strength. I'm working for you people. Let's go. Bring it back. Get it back on shelves. Special release, distillery, however you want to do it. Just bring it back, please. Thank you so much. I'm here for you guys. All right. Oh, that actually smells really nice. Okay, Larceny barrel proof. What do I have over here? This is the B524, which I thought was a solid batch, but let's try the C924, guys. 125.1 proof on this one. So a lower proof point for Larceny barrel proof. It's right kind of where it should be. Not really quite into those 130s. Wheated bourbon mash bill. Yeah, usual mash bill that we see from Larceny. So, all right. Oh, an 18 cask strength. I wonder how that would be. I don't know. Sometimes those high-aged whiskeys at cask strength are even oakier when they're not watered down. So it would just depends on how it does with without the water. Jason demanding like it's cousin Eddie threatening Clark's boss. That's right. Amen. Preach on Jason. The Falcons win the Super Bowl. That's going a little far, Bourbon Engineer. Okay. All right. Let's get on here. Man, it smells fantastic. Buttery, sweet. That Heaven Hill, like kind of wheated bourbon mash bill coming through, a little bit of nuttiness. Very heavy cinnamon here. A little bit of clove as well. It's interesting because clove is something I don't usually get unless it's an older whiskey, but I'm actually getting a little hint of clove in here. Let's get a little more air in there. Nice color on this too, guys. You check out the color there. The color cam now for that whiskey. Yeah, it's a nice color on it. Jason, do you have any Springbank scotches? I need to revisit and buy some. Yeah, I have a few different Springbanks. Local Barley, I heard this year is actually really good, so I might try to seek one of those out. Man, it's got this heavy vanilla custard creme brulee thing going on. Man, powdered sugar. It's got a little bit of like a sweet pastry note going on. There's a little like a breadiness, but like almost like a croissant type of thing, like a croissant that was just put in the oven a little bit too long. It's a little bit toasty. That's really nice in the nose. Again, a little bit of that nuttiness coming through too. So not an off-profile Larceny, not also very harsh on the nose either. This one is coming through where Larceny barrel proof has been the last few releases, even going back to the B523 from last year. A little bit more of a sweeter profile, especially on the nose, but let's give it a try. Wow, I got a ton of apple on the palate. Caramel apple. Caramel apple, spice, heavy vanilla. This is not as spice-driven as some of the other Larceny barrel proofs have been. This is a little bit more of a sweeter. This one is coming off like a wheated bourbon. It's a little bit easier on the back of the palate, especially considering kind of the flavor you're getting here. Let me get another sip here. Dark honey too. You get a little bit of that wheated bourbon funk on the back end of this. It's not overly harsh. Now the proof is kind of coming through here the more I sip it. That's good. It's a solid batch. This isn't, again, I think Larceny barrel proof has kind of just hit its stride when it comes to the flavor profile that they're putting together. I got to tell you, I might like the C924 Larceny over the Elijah Craig barrel proof from this year, the C924. I know it's a controversial statement, but yeah, I am not crazy about the C924 Elijah Craig this year. Is it good? It's good. Is it solid? It's solid, but it is a very nutty profile, peanut buttery profile for me for that. And there's not much of a finish for me on that C924. I don't care what anybody says. It is. I'm not digging it. All right. Yeah, that sips like a wheater. It's sweet. The more you sip it, you know, the proof is there, guys. But as you guys know, the more you sip a high proof whiskey, your palate acclimates to it. It just starts, the more you get used to it, the easier it does get to sip. And it just stays kind of sweet. A little bit of spice. The honey, the caramel apple note is definitely still strong there. That Heaven Hill nuttiness, I think there's a hint of it. And yeah, it's very vanilla forward, very vanilla heavy, which I don't mind. Somebody asked to compare it to the C923, which I do have here. C923 was universally regarded as one of the best batches, if not the best batch ever, of Larceny barrel proof. Oh no. Okay. Oh, this isn't. Damn glue. Oh my god, it keeps falling back in the bottle. I got it. All right. Damn corks. I'm just going to kind of lay that on top there. So C923 came in at 126.4 proof, so a little higher than the 125 and change C924. So C924, I think, is just a little bit darker on the nose, and I think that's kind of what people really liked about it. C923, C924. What did I say? 24. Oh my god, this one, which is the 23, is a little bit darker than the 24. Oh yeah, 23 is sweeter. Oh my god, 23 is chocolate, caramel, oak, a lot of caramel, a lot of vanilla, toffee. Oh my gosh. Yeah. I don't think it's that good being the 24. Yeah, there's a hint of brightness still in the C924 that I think doesn't. The 23 has almost an older profile to it, where it's a little bit more integrated. Everything is kind of meshed together to the point where all you really get are those rich, sweet flavors, the oak notes, the sweetness factors. The C924, I think, has that in the beginning, but then as it works its way back in the palate, a little bit more of a youthful characteristic starts to make itself to be known. But it's still a really good batch. I like the caramel apple combination it has. It's like a caramel apple that's been, you know, coated in like peanuts. That's kind of what the C924 does for me. A little bit more heavy vanilla too on it. That's good. Yeah, color difference. Yeah, the C9, yeah, the C923 is actually pretty. Well, actually, wait a second. Yeah, this one's darker, a lot darker, and it smells that way too. So, in conclusion, C924 still not to the level of C923. However, it's a really nice batch of Larceny Barrel Proof. I think it's a good one. I think if you like the sweeter ones, a little bit less burn, a little bit more of a sweeter profile, the C923 will give it to you. Now, with that said, I do want to compare it real quick to the B524 because I thought the B524 was also solid, but if you have bought the B524, is it worth also seeking this one out? Now, I know people are going to want to buy this anyway because it has a new bottle design. That will mostly probably drive the sales for this one overall. But I'm just curious how this one kind of works out here. When you compare. B524 to me was, again, another really good batch. Like I said, Larceny's kind of hit its stride. They know what they're doing now. They know what they're putting together. Yeah, the nose is actually really similar. Oh. B524, actually, after tasting the two of these, actually comes off even more youthful. It's really close. Not a huge difference between the two here. I think they're pretty much in line, which what you would expect. I'm not seeing a huge difference between the two, to be honest. I think the C924 actually has a little bit more of a wheated bourbon forward funk on it. If that makes sense. Yankees win. Oh, the Yankees won. Okay, my mom will be happy. I could actually call her, later, and then she'll actually be in a good mood. I think she was going to flip a table if they lost. Man, it drinks real easy, the C924. It drinks like a weeder. Yeah, I like the 24C over the B, at least in this matchup. I think the C just has a little bit more depth going on, but both of them are still not as good as the C923. The C923 is ridiculous. Probably the best batch that Larceny's put out. Both of them are not quite to that level at all. You guys saw the color difference, and I think that's for a reason. But I do like the C924 overall. I think I like it over the B. So A, I thought was another solid batch. I'm not going to go grab the A as well. I'll do a video on that. But yeah, just a solid Larceny barrel proof. If anything, you could grab it, get the new label. It's really nice. But other than that, not too far off from the B batch from this year either. So, all right, there you go. Man, we're running through some whiskeys. I need some water here. I'll take a little break. Woo! All right. Forward Funk sounds like a band name. Favorite Larceny barrel proof batch of all time, Steve Burko? I'm probably going to go with the C923. The B523 was also fantastic as well. But I think last year I picked the C as my favorite, if I remember correctly. Thank goodness it's hockey season. Sounds like a plan. Watered down for more profit. Oh, sounds like a pass. Let's see. Jason, are you going to do the top five segment tonight? Yes, I have a top five segment. It was written in to me. It was a suggestion. and I'm definitely going to do it. I've been thinking about this. I'll save it. You guys don't have to give me suggestions because I already have one in mind. I thought it was actually a really cool suggestion. So we'll go from there. Holy shit, it's 10:19, 10:20 already. First of all, any weather updates? What's going on in Florida? I know it hit landfall. Is there anybody in Florida watching now that is kind of following it? Let me know, let everybody know some updates if you have one. C923 was better than C922 and B523. 96 milliman. C and B from last year were very close, but I definitely like them both than the C922 for sure. So there you go. Brooks Reed says, "Ask Fred Minnick." Yeah, Fred Minnick. He loved those Larcenys last year. That's for sure. There's Brooks Reed there wearing the Falcons helmet. Damn, Brooks. I love that you watch, dude. It's so cool. And everybody was freaking out about that game last week. You can miss me with a Subway series as Bourbon Jerk. When is Buffalo Trace finally going to add a Weller barrel proof to the SKU? You know what? It seems that Weller has been the line that they just keep adding to. So I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, we have a full proof. I mean, that's basically essentially what it is. It's going in. It's coming out the same as the entry proof. Now, if they ever did a full cast strength Weller, I don't know how much that would be different than a full proof. Would it be that much better? Who knows? But I guess we'll see. I don't see that happening because they have a full proof. If anything, the trend with Buffalo Trace seems to be these higher end releases that are thousands of dollars or hundreds of dollars, whatever you want to call it. I think Buffalo Trace has really kind of flipped Weller and the perception on its head. Weller, when it first came out, was a complete budget bourbon, $15, $20, $25. I think Weller 12 was $25 or $30 when it first came out. And now they're taking the Weller name and making it more of a premium type of whiskey brand, which we've seen the last few years. So if there's anything that's going to happen with Weller, I would see more releases that are high price tags. So yeah, yep. Let's see. Weller Rye next. Mash Bill 2 BTAC, please. Mash Bill 2 BTAC. That would actually be pretty cool. I could see that happening. Is the Maker's Toasted Marshmallow worth the hunt? The Blue Moose. Unfortunately, Blue Moose, I have not tried that one. Generally, when stuff from Maker's Mark, I tend to not buy off of the flavor profiles. However, this Mocha Stave one was really good. The Lost Recipe series, this Mocha one is good. I don't know about the Toasted Marshmallow, but that one's pretty delicious. So I'll go with that. Weller cast strength maybe not be better than the full proof, but I know it would go for 3 times the price of the full proof secondary. For sure it would. Mauricio Pastinas, I was getting ready to get in trouble with the wife for the new Westward Milestone, but I've still not spent more than $100 on any bottle. We're about to get into that one, so stay tuned. Elmer Barrel Proof will be a BTAC one day. Yeah, I mean, Elmer Barrel Proof or, Rock Hill Farms Barrel Proof or whatever, it could happen. You never know. Eric Farrar, yeah, just tried some Heart Release. It's just not that great. I agree with you, Eric. It's okay. Totally agree with you. Blanton's in a 1.75. So I was talking to somebody about that. Like, what if they made like the giant grenade bottle with a big one? Oh my God. Could you believe those would sell like hotcakes? But I would imagine to make that bottle that big, it's got to be pretty expensive. So if I have 5 Larceny Barrel Proof C923, I could take it. Yeah, Darryl, you're good for a while. Take a timeout. You could skip the Larcenys for a little bit. You're good, dude. What do you think about Peerless High Rye winning the International Wine and Spirits competition? I could see that winning just because one thing I've learned over the years from competitions is that the bourbons and the whiskeys that you least likely think is going to win usually ends up winning for whatever reason that is. Now, normally, some of the smaller award shows, Buffalo Trace seems to always win those. Whiskey Advocate, I don't even pay attention to their list because it's all based on ad revenue. So if you see, because here's the thing with the Whiskey Advocate. Whiskey Advocate will always have every single year a George Dickel whiskey makes the top 10. And that's only because George Dickel constantly puts in ads, pays for ad space in Whiskey Advocate every single year. So, and you see a correlation between who's in their top 10 and who has paid money for ads in their magazine. So Whiskey Advocate, I think, is a very, very biased list, unfortunately. And that sometimes is what we see with a lot of different award shows, competitions, whatever you want to call them. But Peerless, I could see maybe winning because Peerless has a ton of flavor in their whiskey. The thing about Peerless that people seem to kind of keep it at arm's length is the prices. It's about $110, $120 for, a bottle of most of like the single barrels and some of that stuff. So people tend to kind of overlook it. But Peerless always has great flavor, great texture and mouthfeel. They're going in a barrel at a really low entry proof. So 103, 104, I think, even 105. I forgot what their exact barrel entry proof is, but it's low. So that kind of lends itself to better texture, better flavor, more viscosity. And if you get I have done 6 different single barrels at Peerless, and they are complete hitters. They are delicious. So there's nothing that you can if a certain type of single barrel or whatever it is gets put in a competition like that, I could see the Peerless winning, especially over other stuff. I have a Peerless single barrel we called it the Ghost Barrel because it was a super short barrel. It is so viscous and so flavorful. That would beat the shit out of mostly anything from Buffalo Trace, all the Wellers, any Buffalo Trace Mash Bill 2 product. That Peerless single barrel would kick the ass of most stuff that you see on the shelf. And not only that, but most even high-end stuff that people pay a high price for. There are certain barrels and things that come out of Peerless that are absolutely incredible. And I think if you sent the right one in, it could definitely take it for sure. GTS with a Blanton's topper. Yeah, that would be a little crazy. South Florida here, our power just went off on 1.2 million without power in Central Florida as Milton has made landfall. Sorry to hear that, man. Stay safe. I hope you're okay. It's me, 7 Seal. Hope you and the family are doing all right, man. I hope you guys stay with power. The original Maker's Toasted Barrel Rye was a Marshmallow Bomb. Absolutely. Top 5 adult diaper brands. Fishbowl Blanny. Let me scroll down here. Bigfoot 2, Adam, for sure. Strawberry Grooves. What is the Peerless profile? So sorry, Hungry. I wouldn't really, I don't think I could actually put them into a particular profile. If you go on a tour and you try their single barrels have such a vast amount of flavor profiles for whatever you get. It's insane what you can get. I've had single barrels that literally taste like they've been finished in rum casks. Ones that taste like they've been finished in like chocolate barrels, if there was such a thing. I mean, there's just so much flavor variation within Peerless. But when you're talking about just this straight profile, for me, I get a lot of caramel apple in Peerless, good spice, but most of all, great flavor and great viscosity. And when you can kind of combine all those things together, it's a great whiskey. So yeah. Top 5 boxed mac and cheese. I think I only know 2, Trav. Velveeta and Kraft. What else is there? What other ones are there? Now here's the big question. Kraft mac and cheese, right? They have the elbows usually. Remember, do they still have like the wheels? The wheel pasta? Elbows versus wheels. Who wins? You guys want the elbow pasta or the wheels pasta? Who wins in that? I'm about to start a fight in the chat right now. You guys are about to go crazy. Late to the party. Has he already tasted the Makers? I did Mean Green. Actually really liked it. The mocha, for $55, $60, it's worth a pickup. Elbows. There's only Velveeta, if we're being honest. Peerless Rye Double Oak for $115. I really like the Peerless Rye Double Oaked. I know the prices. I know it's pricey. I would maybe try it if you've never had it before you pull it. Before you pull the trigger on it. Elbows over wheels, elbows, shells or nothing. That's right. We have shells too from the Velveters. Velveters with the shells. If you are over 10, it should only be elbows. Okay. Oh my God, I love it. All right, so we're going to try the next one, which is the Milestone. Then we'll get into a couple of the new hard truths. We'll do some comparisons to finish out the night with you guys. So let's do it. So this is the new Westward Whiskey Milestone, release number 2, the second edition. Look at this beast. That's a beast of a box. I don't. I just said that's a beast of a box. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So I. Where is it?
That's what she said.
So yeah, we're gonna crack this open here. Look at this. Look at that beauty. Woo! This thing is no joke. So it comes with this. Oh, I didn't even read this. Let's see what's in here. I'm kind of experiencing this with you guys here, but take a look at this bottle close up, guys. This is beautiful. Westward Whiskey Milestone, release number 2, and then you have, look at the cork topper. Look at this thing. Westward Whiskey. Look at that eagle on it. That is incredible. Let me twist that. Check that thing out. Look at that. I mean, look at that. It's like the size of a damn... It's like a Fiat tire. The thing is freaking huge. It's like a damn wheel on a small car. Look at that shit. Oh my gosh. Yeah, look at that thing. A damn frisbee. All right, let's dive into this one. So now, a lot of different maturation in this. It's weird because I got the press kit. So they sent me this bottle, which I definitely will thank them for. But they basically sent me this. It came with this. You better say America. Yeah, I should have said America. I'm sorry. Okay. Milestone is raised from. There's a lot of marketing speak here, guys. Bear with me. Milestone is raised from whiskey personally drawn by master blender Miles Monroe from a 21-barrel Solera system. Used for centuries by European winemakers, the meticulous Solera method allows us to continuously age and blend some of our oldest and most precious whiskeys with rare cask types, creating even more complex flavors. Okay, Solera. So Solera, we're just talking about an ongoing blend that they just keep adding to. It's what we're seeing with the Little Book Infinite as well. Just kind of like this, this infinite blend they keep adding, taking away, adding, taking away. And as that happens, it just keeps evolving over time. So that's what we're seeing with this. Now, as far as cask maturation with this, now Westward is kind of known for using, 3 specific casks. Stout, I think rum, sherry, I think ex-bourbon as well. So this retails for $250, if I remember that correctly. Now, I've heard so many good things about this bottle. And I was like, yeah, I can't wait to, get a try of this here, especially live. Let me throw the photo up here so you guys can take a little bit of a closer look. Where is it? There it is. All right. So that's the Milestone right there. Now, here's what we have. So, subtitled, A Discovery of Spice. The expression pulls from decades of distillation, creating something akin to a high-end infinity bottle. So you heard about the Solera cask. Now, as far as cask maturation, rum, Pinot Noir, and stout casks have all been used to create this. Again, rum, Pinot Noir, so Pinot Noir, red wine, and again, stout casks. Stout seems to be the prevailing, trend tonight. it looks like. This is bottled at 48.5% ABV, a nice bump from last year, which was only 43%. And yeah, $250 here as we get into the tasting notes here. So there you go, guys. I've heard nothing but great things about this. I could already smell it right here in the glass. It smells already incredible. So let's get into it here, guys. And we'll see. I have gotten actually a lot of random questions about this bottle. People asking me on Instagram, hey, have you tried the Westward Milestone yet? What do you think? So let's try it. Gosh, the nose is already ridiculous. Yeah, Stout Belly is happy tonight. A lot of stout forward whiskeys. For $250, man. The nose on this is insane. There's so much going on. I get the chocolate. The stout, again, right away, it's hitting my nose. But on top of that, I'm getting pear, cinnamon, honey. Oh, my gosh. Like a Jolly Rancher cherry candy type thing going on here, too. Man, that thing is rich. Talk about a candle. This is a candle whiskey. This is candle whiskey. Yeah, seriously, this is definitely a bottle for self-defense. This is my Captain America shield. America right here. We'll just ching, ching, ching. Just throw it. I'm about to knock over everything in here. It's dangerous. All right. Yeah, man, the nose gets more almost like black raspberry. The nose on this is insane. It is so rich. Yeah, super, super sweet. But there's a lot of depth to it. Yeah, the cherry, the dried craisins. That's what it's like, craisins. So that cross section between a cranberry and a raisin is what I'm kind of getting on the nose to go along with the chocolate. Yeah, again, I think the word of the night tonight is mocha, because that's what I just keep getting. Yeah, heavy fruit, apples, pears. This is crazy. All right, now I'm a little nervous about the low proof, but let's give it a try. Here we go. Cheers. And I actually did have a lot of high proof stuff, so we'll see how it holds up. Wow. It's impressive. That's probably the best American single malt I've ever had. Actually, no. Second favorite American single malt I've ever had. First one was from Cedar Ridge. The Cedar Ridge cast strength quintessentials, I think for me, have been number one for a long time. And I don't think this unseats it. But from a Westward, looking through the lens of a Westward bottling like this, yeah, this has a lot of depth to it, a lot of flavor. All the things that I said on the nose, you get on the palate. The craisin, the dried cranberry, cherry, raisin note, the chocolate. But the one thing it's lacking, though, is a finish. Not much of a finish on the first sip. I know I've been drinking some barrel proof stuff here tonight, especially coming off the Larceny. But, man, I get a lot of pear and apple on the very back end of that one. Everything, it's like an edible arrangement. all the different fruit, except take the banana out. But if you have apples, pears, cherries, all covered in chocolate. But yeah, the only thing that this lacks for me is a finish. Unfortunately, I would like a longer finish on it. I think it has a subtle finish that has a lot of depth to it, but it just doesn't last long enough for me. And that's the only thing that I would say that I would like, yeah, is it worth $250? The nose is incredible. The front of the palate is incredible. The one piece that's missing is a long finish. However, most Scotch malt drinkers, I'm not saying all of them, I'm saying some of them, don't really want the burn. They want the easy, smooth finish. They could throw something. They could throw this in a glass with an ice cube, water it down a little bit. It gets really easy sipping, but it's also very fruit forward, very sweet. It's got a lot of depth to it as well. But that is easily the second best American single malt I think I've had. I love that. That's good. Is it $250 good though? Man, that's tough because snozzberries. Put some in. Everybody wants me to add all sorts of shit to my OGD 16. Gandy Road says finish is what I would pay up for. Yeah, Gandy, I think it's kind of missing it for me, unfortunately. But if you like, if you're a person that likes sweeter single malts, if you're a Scotch drinker and you like, kind of the 80, 86 proof, even 90 proof, actually just Scotch single malts that don't have a super long finish, but are very fruit forward. I think this will be in your wheelhouse. What I think is most impressive to me is that I know a lot of bourbon drinkers kind of fear the maltiness. This doesn't have a lot of maltiness. I would argue that Bardstown Bourbon Company Blackberry finish has more maltiness than this does. But it is so fruit forward and dense with the finishes that are on here. It's just so concentrated in flavor. It tastes amazing. Again, we're talking about another like rich dessert whiskey for $250. But I will say, yeah, the nose is insane. They should definitely make a candle out of this. Westward, if you're watching, figure out how to take these flavors and make it a candle. Great holiday dram right here. Age statement on this. That's a good question. Let me see if it says anything. And all it says is it's some of their oldest casks. I don't know what that means as far as age goes. The inaugural bottling, 2023. There is no age statement on here at all. No, you know what? Let's see if this says anything. The secret book. Oh my god, it has a friggin' QR code. Doesn't tell me anything. We invite you, join the Milestone Society. This doesn't tell me anything, guys. Sorry. I thought this would unlock the secrets of the Milestone. It didn't unlock anything. Let me see if it says it on the back of here. Availability online at westwardwhiskey.com and select wine and spirits retailers throughout the U.S. Tasting notes. Yeah, we went through that. No age on here. Considering batch 1, I think, was close to 20 years, if I remember correctly, I would imagine that this has some whiskey in that age range, maybe. So, but yeah. Here's the thing. It's hard for me to kind of gauge where this is because I think the price is high because it lacks a finish, but it's also a very impressive American single malt. I'd say this. If you're a fan of American single malt or even a fan of Scottish single malt and you love those deep, rich flavors without a long finish and without a long burn, you'll probably enjoy this. But if you're a Scotch drinker and you like the heavily peated sherry cask finishes with higher proof, with long finishes, I don't think this is going to do it for you, unfortunately. But I think there is a market for this. I think there are some people that will actually really enjoy this. I love the nose. I love the palate. The finish for me just lacks. But the finish and the nose it has is really complex. And there's a ton of flavor going on here. If the youngest whiskey was 20 years, they'd put it on the label. Yeah, who knows? See, I don't know if I'd... Yeah, I mean, I agree with that, Nathan, but I could see there being some older whiskey in here. However, I could also see there being some young whiskey in here, too. And they probably didn't want to put that on the label, especially if there's only like 6 or 7 or 8-year-old stuff in here. So, yeah, I don't think it's 20 years old. There might be a little bit of 20 years. Maybe there'd be a little older stuff in here. It's hard to tell with Westward. I don't know what those oldest casks means. Because all they say is like we've taken our older casks and put them in here. So what are your older casks? What are we looking at here age-wise? Have you had? They've been around for quite a while. So I could see at least over 10 years in here for an American single malt. But getting up to 19, 20 in that range, I'm not quite so sure. I'm getting more of the rum now. Maple syrup, sugar. That thing's crazy. I just want to pour this over ice cream, to be honest. I don't even want to drink. I just want to pour it over ice cream. It is so rich and dense. I think anybody that has this will say, damn, that's freaking good. But from a value perspective with what you're getting, I grade a lot on finish, and this unfortunately just doesn't have the long finish I want. But the flavors it has and what it does really well. So it's going to be up to you whether you want to spend the $250 on this, whether if you like those flavors. But for me, you know, this to me feels more like a 125, 150 type bottle, given the lack of finish. However, at $250 with American single malt, Westward being one of the kind of the front runners in American single malt today, I could see why they would prop that up. It comes in a beautiful bottle. This cork alone probably costs $60 to make. So I don't know. What do you guys think? Based off of my tasting notes, are you interested? I'm not going to say you buy it or you're going to pass. Are you interested in it? So let me know in the chat. Are you guys, do the tasting notes and my reaction make you at least interested in maybe trying it at a bar or something like that? Let me know. I'm curious. Eric Farrar says, yeah, actually nose and finish weigh heavily for me because they're the things you can enjoy while not actively drinking. Yeah. Ben Dramond says, I'm interested. Try but not buy, says Night Method. It's the box. Is the box edible? Yes. Yes, I would have to get a pour. William Wiley's interested. Chooch is interested. He's got the thumbs up in the America. Bar pour for me, says Jamie Hall. Yeah. Interested for sure, but I do like a long finish. That's what she said. I tried a peanut butter whiskey. I'll try anything, says Ben Singer. Dude, don't sleep on peanut butter whiskey. Peanut butter whiskey is delicious. It was funny when I was up at Evernorth. I was talking to Dan, and me and Dan were like, dude, how good is Crown Royal Blackberry? I don't even know how it came up, but we were just like, how good is Crown Royal Blackberry? I love that shit. I'm like, yeah, dude, Crown Royal Blackberry and some lemonade or some iced tea is freaking delicious. So we both conceded that we like. We both conceded to the fact that we both really love Crown Royal Blackberry. I don't care what anybody says. That shit is delicious. I'm not ashamed of it. And I like Screwball whiskey too. I love peanut butter whiskey. Screwball, oh man, have I not tried Screwball and Crown Royal Blackberry together yet? That's going to be the ultimate peanut butter and jelly shot. Why have I not done this yet? Okay. All right. I'm about to break open one of these, a couple of these hard truths. But while we're doing that, it is time for tonight's top 5. So tonight's top 5 comes courtesy of Michael Garcia, one of my viewers. He sent in a great suggestion. What are my top 5? Hold on a second. Let me say this right. Let me make sure I find it here. I don't want to. Let's see. My top 5 fictional vehicles of all time. Top 5 fictional vehicles of all time. So we're talking about It could be a car, it could be a spaceship, it could be, any fictional vehicle. He said it could be from comic books, it could be from movies, from TV shows, whatever you think. My top 5 fictional vehicles of all time. So, all right. So while you're letting that marinate, I'm going to crack open a couple of these new hard truths. So these are the new hard truths that are starting to hit the market. And there are a few different ones here. This is the newest one I got, which is a maple brulee, rich single barrel rye with cask strength. I don't know if I want to try that one yet. I'm going to go with the double oaked first. Let's try the double oaked. Oh, look, everyone's putting their shit in. I love it. I love it. ADHD whiskey in the house. There we go. What's up, Matt? Matt, you were right, man. That Milestone is ridiculous. America. That's for you, Matt. The Milestone single malt. That's probably the second best single malt, American single malt I've had, next to the Quintessential from Cedar Ridge. So, that truck from Jeepers Creepers, Millennium Falcon, Double Oaked Rye. I've never had Hard Truth. Number 1 Batmobile from the 1960s Batman. Jetson's Flying Car. Okay. We got people putting it in there. Okay. I love it. All right, guys. So this was recently released, or recently announced, I should say, the Hard Truth. It's the Barrel Finish Reserve Sweet Mash Rye, finished in new chart oak barrels. This is a double oaked rye whiskey from Hard Truth. Let's throw it up in the bottle cam. There it is on the bottle cam. Looks good. I already got it dirty. There we go. Straight rye whiskey. There is the double oaked designation on the bottom. This actually comes in at a proof of 106.9. So a nice little proof point. 16 barrels for this one. I think these are all about $100. So, all right. So top 5 fictional vehicles of all time. Let's get into it. All right. Number 5 for me. And I feel like this should have been higher on the list, but there are some really good ones on this list. Number 5 for me is Kit, the car from Knight Rider. So the Knight Rider car from Kit is my number 5. You guys know Kit, the talking car, which the voice was from Mr. Feeney from Boy Meets World. I know it's a throwback, but that's my number 5 vehicle. Everyone forgot about Kit, right? Kit was an amazing vehicle. He's my number 5. Oh man, it's so being a double oaked rye. This has it's got that marshmallowy, graham crackery, double oaked finish for a rye. I don't think it's as sweet as the Michter's, but again, Michter's is toasted. It's just more double oaked. But I'm gonna let this open up a little bit. Domingo says I had it. You had Kit? Are you talking about Kit? You're not talking about Kit, right? That would be crazy if that's what you're talking about. All right, so yeah, number 5 is Kit. Number 4, I had to think of for a little bit because it was a tough list to make. I feel like I have a top 2 for sure, but the other 3 were tough. I actually do I have a top 3? Yeah, I think I have a top 3. So Kit made number 5. Number 4, I don't know. Maybe number 4 is kind of, but I watched this show religiously. Again, guys, this is my personal top 5. I watched this show religiously growing up. I loved this show. It had to be the General Lee from Dukes of Hazzard. The Dukes of Hazzard General Lee is my number 4. The General Lee, the horn, it always made I love that car. Even more so than Kit. So I put the General Lee as number 4. Number 3. Number 3 is going to go to my favorite Transformer of all time. and that's Optimus Prime. Optimus Prime gets number 3 because he's the greatest. He's the leader. He was a huge ass big. I wanted like to own Optimus Prime and just drive him around. That's what I wanted. So Optimus Prime gets my number 3 slot. Number 2. Number 2 may surprise you because I don't know. Maybe it won't. Number 2, the Millennium Falcon from Star Wars. Everybody loved the Millennium Falcon. I loved it. Even more so than the TIE Fighters, everybody wanted the Millennium Falcon. Everybody loved that ship. It did everything. I don't know. Every single movie, it felt like it did something new. I loved the Millennium Falcon. Actually, wait a second. I fucked up my list. Number 5 was Kit. What did I say? Oh, yeah, that's right. I'm sorry. I knocked off General Lee because I had Kit on there. All right, rewind. Rewind it. Number 5, Kit. Number 4, Optimus Prime. Number 3, DeLorean. I forgot about DeLorean. Number 3 is the DeLorean from Back to the Future. Who doesn't want a freaking time machine in a DeLorean? Number 3 is DeLorean. All right. Number 3 was DeLorean. Number two is still Millennium Falcon. And number 1 might be the most important and most divisive out of all the choices because it's the Batmobile. But which Batmobile am I choosing? Which Batmobile is it? So many Batmobiles, so many different types, so many different choices over the Spaceball spaceship. Whiskey Nose. Yeah, Whiskey Nose. General Lee is probably my number 6. I mean, General Lee, I love General Lee. But, dude, Kit was a freaking talking car. Come on. Top Jimmy says all Batmobiles. The Dark Knight Rises Batmobile? No, I'm telling you what my favorite Batmobile was. It was and it makes no sense. It doesn't hold up today. It probably barely went 25 miles an hour, but it was the Michael Keaton Batmobile from the original Batman movie with Michael Keaton and Jack Nicholson. That might be my favorite Batmobile. Yeah, like when you watch the movie, it feels like it goes very fast, but when you kind of watch the movie, I'm like, I don't think that thing's going 20 miles an hour. It was like ridiculous. It's a Tim Burton designed Batmobile, but I think that's why I loved it so much because it was just completely ridiculous. So I think that was my first. I think that was my favorite. So the Tim Burton Batmobile, for sure. So there you go. Nathan Jurgensen, Boba Fett ship over the Falcon. Yeah, that's a cool call. Yep. Yeah, the Batwing was pretty sweet. That was kind of in the running. Yeah, the Keaton Batmobile was sick. Yeah. Jeff Dunham owns one of those. Holy shit. Yeah, so Starship Enterprise I did see like come up a lot, but I was never really a big Trekkie. I really couldn't get into that show, unfortunately. So yeah, Herbie the Volkswagen I think is a good one. I mean, if we had a top 10, the General Lee would definitely make the top 10. Herbie's mystery car. I had James Bond's old Aston Martin was kind of on there. The Ecto 1. I mean, that was such a cool car. I mean, the Ghostbusters car. That was a cool one to kind of add. One that I don't think anybody's thinking about. The A-Team van. The A-Team van. That thing did everything. I love the A-Team van. I was all about that car too. So, all right, let's give it a try. The Double Oak Tier Hard Truth. Oh shit! The palate is way better than the nose. The nose is actually a little bit funky and youthful, but the palate is way better. The palate is sweet. It's spicy. It's marshmallow all day long, but more of like an open fire, like campfire marshmallow for sure. The TARDIS, Domingo Corona. That just blew my mind. Well, you know what? I mean, the TARDIS is really cool, but I'd rather actually have the time traveling DeLorean, to be honest. Yeah, I'd be all up. I'd be in there for that. Whiskey knows the National Lampoon station wagon. Yeah. Somebody, I think in the chat somewhere had said the shaggin' wagon from Dumb and Dumber, the big van that was dressed like a dog. that was kind of cool. What else? Okay, let's try. God, there's so many of these. So this is the blend. This is the 2024 blend of a straight rye whiskey with all their different mash bills. I think I remember chocolate malt, caramel malt, and malted rye. Let's give this one a go. I think mostly people were asking me about this one because it's like the Master's Distillers blend. So let's see what we get on this one. This one comes in at 115 proof. 115 proof, and yeah, a blend of their chocolate malt, caramel malt, and malted rye blended together. All right, let's do. Jason, do you have the Hard Truth French Oak Stave Rye? No, but I do have one on the way, Marty. So, oh, the Mystery Machine. Yes, the Mystery Machine. That's a good one. Somebody wrote before that the Jetsons car. Yeah, I think that's a kind of a cool one as well. Yeah, the Monster Mobile. That's really good too. Man, you guys are coming up with some freaking awesome ones. Man, what else was there? Is the Mario Kart? Can we put Mario Kart in there? The actual Mario Kart? Man, again, I think the theme of the night, man, is like this mocha chocolate like note I'm getting all night in these, which I don't mind. I mean, I like that note, but oh, Steve Burko, Silver Surfer Surfboard. That's legendary. Cheers, Steve. Yeah, man. That's crazy. Oh, the Airwolf helicopter. Yeah. Oh, yeah, the Wonder Woman Invisible Jet. Yeah, that one just seems weird to me. It's kind of cool, but I don't know. Just flying around an invisible jet. I mean, I get it. The Smoking the Bandit Trans Am. Oh, yes. Good call, Ricardo. This is coffee bean and chocolate all day. This is literally like a chocolate mocha coffee. With that chocolate malt, that maltiness, that's what that is. If you like those flavors, this blend, this 2024 Hard Truth blend is going to be your jam. It is all coffee, chocolate, a little bit of maple syrup in there too. Yeah, that is a straight up coffee bomb. Coffee beans, all of it for sure. So, all right, we're doing one last one here tonight, guys, before we call it a night. Just because the name is so enticing, I want to try it. This is the Hard Truth Barrel Finish Reserve Single Barrel Select from Hard Truth, and it's called Maple Brulee Reserve. A unique mash bill of aged sweet mash rye rested in charred, caramelized maple syrup barrels to add bold, sweet maple notes for... Oh, I got to try this shit. All right. I mean, I feel like I've had like dessert whiskeys all night. Everything has been chocolatey and sweet. So just to let you guys know, if we start Blendageddon next week, we'll start getting into in between some of my lists as we get closer to the end of the year here, as Blendageddon goes on. Some of my surprises of the year, some of my top bourbons of the year, top ryes of the year. It's about to all start going down. The time is running out here in the year, which is crazy to think about. But a lot of the lists and what people have liked throughout the year are starting to... Ooh. There we go. America. So you guys will see some of that, you know, as we get closer to the end of the year, especially as we're doing Blendageddon. So, all right. All right, let's see what this is. Gravedigger. Oh, Gravedigger. Man, remember those the crazy, you know, monster truck shows? I remember like seeing commercials for those growing up. Gravedigger, Nassau Coliseum, Long Island. They had those freaking, you know, monster truck shows all the time. Gravedigger was always the headliner. And Elliot's bike from E.T. Russell, nobody wanted his bike. Nobody wanted his bike. How about Pee Wee Herman's bike? Come on. Pee Wee Herman's bike in Pee Wee's Big Adventure. Rest in peace, Paul Rubens. Come on. Pee Wee Herman's bike. That's a good call out. I'm going to pat myself on the back for that one. Chooch is cracking up. I'm telling Pee Wee Herman's bike was no joke. He had all the gadgets on that shit. Don't see any of those hard shoots in Ohio. Yeah, John, I agree. I don't know where these are distributing to, but these are just a bunch of hard shoots that are coming out. The Jetsons Flying Car. Bourbon Lens in the house. What's going on, Bourbon Lens? One of my favorite bourbon podcasts. Bourbon Lens, I know I keep saying it, but we need to. Can I get on your show? I want to get on your show. Let's do a podcast, man. How about the go-kart from Little Rascals? Okay. 1986 Ferrari 250 GT from Bueller. Oh, yes, Eddie D. The Ferrari from Ferris Bueller's Day Off. That shit was legendary. Yep. Great call out. I'm telling you, Big Vic's Magic Carpet, Blake Benson, you're an asshole. All right, so the nose on here. Combine, blend again with Matt Madness and mess with people, says Night Method. That would take a lot of coordination. I'm not getting a lot of maple syrup on the nose. Let's try it on the palate. Yeah, the palate is... It's interesting. The palate actually comes off a little bit peachy. Peachy and maple syrup. It's very sweet. A lot of vanilla. Yeah, the maple's starting to come through. But it's not like a dark maple syrup. It's a very light maple syrup. Very sugary sweet. This is more like Mrs. Butterworth's Aunt Jemima old school maple syrup. Can I say Aunt Jemima or am I going to get canceled? I mean, you guys know Aunt Jemima, right? I mean... I'll say Mrs. Butterworth's. Is Mrs. Butterworth still around? They didn't cancel Mrs. Butterworth's, did they? Mrs. Butterworth's. This is more of a Mrs. Butterworth's maple syrup than like a dark maple syrup. This is very sugary sweet. Yeah. It's almost too sweet for me. That's very sweet. That would actually be really good, and it does taste like creme brulee. It's very vanilla, extremely sweet. It's custardy. Yeah, that might be really good in like an old fashioned. That's really delicious, but very sweet. That's not like an everyday drinking whiskey, for sure. Jemima will always be the GOAT. Eleanor from Gone in 60 Seconds. That might be the sleeper. That might be the sleeper call out of the night right there. That's really good, Mark. All right, guys. I think we're going to call it a night. I'm going to go. I'm going to clean all this up. We're going to celebrate the Mets' victory. Guys, thanks so much for watching. Tune in next week. We could be starting the blend again in Franken Blends. If not, we might have a guest on. Just trying to work on those two different things kind of coming together. A very special guest, by the way. We'll see what happens. But with that, thanks for the support. Make sure you like, subscribe, share the channel with all your friends. Again, to all of you in Florida, please stay safe. Thoughts and prayers out to you. Making sure that all you guys are staying safe. Nobody gets hurt. Everybody's, home, stay intact. Please stay safe. And everybody watching, please say a prayer for everybody in Florida, including all the families that are there. I have some family there too. I might actually call them now and see what's going on. So, guys, thanks for everything tonight. Thanks for the super chats, all the support. And as I always say, it's not about the whiskey. It's the people you share it with. Cheers. And I'll see you next week right here on the Mash and Drum. Thanks for everybody for watching. Let's go Mets. Cheers, guys.